Why have I got our 11-year-old daughter, Emery, handwriting, old school, classic Gary Halbert sales letters every single day as part of her homeschooling here in Naples? Michael McLean, brassballsvideos.com. You can download a free copy of my brand new book, 5 Ways to Unfuck Your Life. The link is below. There's nothing to buy. It's my gift to you. It's a short book, 22 pages. You can read it in one sitting, print it off, read it on your phone. I don't care what you do. Share it with friends, share it with your adult children. If you need to get your shit together in the next month, this is the free book to do it. The link is below. I am an ex-professional hockey coach, ex-amateur championship hockey coach, turned 8-figure entrepreneur. So we homeschool our 11-year-old daughter here in Southwest Florida, and we hired earlier this year the great Dan Lazonis, the world's self-proclaimed #1 math teacher. And my daughter spends 6 hours a day with Coach Dan, everything math, science, biology, fitness, entrepreneurship. And one of the things that I asked Mr. Dan, Coach Dan, Teacher Dan, to start implementing into Emery's every day with him, Monday to Friday, is because she does cursive writing. Emery has to write 4 pages a day in her left hand and in her right hand. She's right-handed. So cursive writing, not printing, not typing, no technology. If you know anything about brain health, if you know anything about mental health, if you know anything about focus, if you know anything about mental toughness, cursive writing, which we've taken out of most of the schools, it's critically valuable to kids. So of course the big brother took it out of the schools. Kids can't write cursive anymore. She writes cursive 4 pages minimum in her notebook every day. There's no technology, no screens, none of that horse shit. But we made a tweak the other day to salesmanship because entrepreneurship is a big part of Dan's homeschooling program. Every day they talk about money, they talk about the marketing, they talk about the markets, they talk about small business, they talk about all this stuff. So I made a tweak the other day. I said, okay, you know how she's writing poems and she's writing Shakespeare in both hands every day, 4 pages, 5 pages, 6 pages. I said, I want you to change that now. She's been doing that for several months. I said, I want you to print off, and this is something that you should be doing if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a small business owner, if you give a shit about marketing and sales. I said, print off 1 Gary Halbert sales letter at a time. Most of them are 20 to 30 pages. Print them off. And I want Emery every day, a minimum, I want her to be writing in her left hand and her right hand 4 pages of Gary's sales letter. Old school sales letter. Not his newsletters, his sales letter. So the headline, the sub-headline, all of the bullets, all of the call to action, all of the test, all of it. So she can do a sales letter once or twice per week. 4 to 6 pages a day. Just keep writing out sales page. Keep writing out Halbert's infamous sales pages. Well, why the hell, as a father, would I want my 11-year-old spending her time handwriting out Gary Halbert sales letters? Isn't this 2024? Shouldn't she be on a pad somewhere? Shouldn't she be working on artificial stupidity or online or tweeting or twitting or something? I want, through handwriting, and it can only be done through cursive writing, my $50,000 and $30,000 mastermind members, we handwrite every day. My $10,000 mastermind guys, we would handwrite every session. I mean, I write every day with my hand, left and right, because brain fitness. It's not that I want to write all day. It's that I take 10 minutes and I write cursive because it's brain fitness. It's my mental push-ups. Every day I do push-ups. Every day I do Hindu squats. Well, I do push-ups for my prefrontal to combat technology, to combat all the stuff that's going on, to make us weak, to make us comfortable, to make us lazy, to make us entitled, to make us selfish. I'm combating that with mental brain cerebral push-ups. And push-ups are cursive writing, especially handwriting sales letters. And here's the great thing about this, is nobody's going to do it. You're not going to do it. Nobody's going to do it. Your kids aren't going to do it. No other business owner is going to do it. Even copywriters won't do it. So when I was in my late 30s, somebody gave me this advice. So I printed off 5 Gary Halbert sales letters. You can write anybody's sales letter. It could be Kennedy, it could be Carlton. Doesn't make any difference, as long as it's the old time greats. And I had a job where I could sit around at a desk. I'd do it at night, but I would handwrite these sales letters for no less than half an hour once a day. And month after month, I would do this boring activity. It was torture. And I would write Halbert letter after Halbert letter after Halbert letter. And I'd be sitting there going violent inconsistency, right? I'm like, oh my God, I've got writer's cramp. I'm tired. I don't want to do it. But you know what? I'm not a little bitch. I'm not a 12-year-old little child who's run by my feelings and my emotions. I'm ruled by my principles and my mission and my life purpose. So I knew that I had to handwrite Gary Halbert letters, Kennedy letters, John Carlton letters, if I wanted to sell in print. If I wanted to sell with postcards, with flyers, with emails, through video, if I wanted to write marketing books, if I wanted to create websites that actually sold something, and if I wanted to write my own sales pages eventually, I had to study the guys that were making 8 and 9 figures doing it. Halbert was a guy that made 7, 8, and 9 figures writing these letters. Kennedy's a guy who wrote 7, 8, 9 figure. So what I did over time is I would just handwrite these letters. And it just literally embeds copywriting in your brain without you even having to think about it. So after you do it day after day, week after week, month after month, literally a light bulb goes off. And this will happen for my 11-year-old. She'll be writing those every day, 5 days a week. And once again, she'll be like, this is crazy. Who's Gary Halbert? Why am I writing these sales pages out? But here's the thing. There gets to a tipping point where the light bulb goes off and she'll be like, boom, I know how to write subheadlines. Boom, I know how to write a headline. Boom, I know how to open up a sales letter. Dear, boom, I know how to write bullets. Boom, I know how to write a call to action. Boom, I know how to tell an unforgettable story. She'll learn how to sell millions and millions and millions of dollars through words on paper and on a screen. She'll be able to sit down and write a letter that brings her money. She'll be able to write an email that brings her money. She'll be able to write a website that brings her money. She'll be able to write a sales page. She'll be able to write a script for a video that brings her money. She'll be able to write a phone script that brings her money. She'll be able to write a social media post that brings her money. And AI, artificial stupidity, won't be able to do anything like that. That stuff is soulless. That's B plus copy. I'm talking about Halbert. I'm talking about Kennedy. I'm talking about Claude Hopkins. I'm talking about A++ writers. and teaching my child to write like those men. Words on a page or on a screen that bring in millions of dollars every time you do it. And there's no shortcut for this. You literally have to embed this in your brain. You have to literally pound this into your prefrontal cortex, and you hardwire. This handwriting literally is the only way to hardwire the language and patterns of these 7 and 8 and 9 figure copywriters. You're writing the same copy that brought them that money. You're hardwiring the language and the writing. And after doing it for about 90 days, that's my experience. I'm a slow learner, a very slow learner. She'll pick it up faster than that. But after 3, 4, 5 months, instead of writing poems or Shakespeare, which there's nothing wrong with, she's going to be able to automatically sit down because of the hardwiring and literally write copy and get better and better and better. And then she'll put her own uniqueness on it, but she'll be able to sit down and write 10 headlines for an ad. She'll be able to sit down and write 5 introductions for a letter. She'll be able to sit down and write 25 testimonials or 25 bullets. And it's going to be all because of this massive consistency hardwiring. Once again, she's not going to miss. You'll miss, she won't miss. She's going to be violently consistent. Dan Lazonis will make sure of that. But she is going to start writing a minimum 4 pages of the old school copywriting sales letters every day with no finish line. Like the great Tim Grover, Michael Jordan's coach, talked about, his fitness coach, there is no finish line. There is no top. There is no good enough. And long after I'm gone, as her father, I'm thinking about, of all the things that I could leave her besides a work ethic and principles and values and personal sovereignty, teaching her how to be self-reliant, how to be independent, how to be a free thinker. Those are all the things my wife and I are working on. One of the things I want to leave her with, not money, not getting any of our money, is leaving her the ability to write for money, to write herself a swimming pool, to write herself a second house, to write herself a new vehicle, to write herself a vacation, and to teach her children how to make money through print, to hardwire their brains and ability to sit down and write an email, to shoot a video, to design a website, to write an old school letter that brings you money, the honey that brings in the money. So I think that's one of the greatest skills that I can give her, is the skill of selling through print, selling through writing. And that's what I intend to do. And that's why Krista and I have the great Sir Dan, starting on Monday, a minimum 4 pages a day, minimum, writing out, handwriting the late great Gary Halbert's sales pages. So there you have it. Not your average father or grandfather advice, but hey, we're not raising kids. We're raising self-reliant adults. Who the hell ever said what's it like to raise a child? What's it like to raise kids? And I'm like, I have no clue. Ever since she was born, I've been raising a free thinking, independent, hardworking, self-reliant, kind and compassionate adult. That's the goal. My goal is not to raise a child. She's already a child. My job and Krista's job and her teacher's jobs, mostly ours, are to raise a self-reliant, responsible, compassionate, kind child who can build a world of personal sovereignty for her own. And this is one of the ways we're going to do it. handwriting old Gary Halbert sales letters that literally sold hundreds of millions of dollars. He has a sales letter that sold over $300 million of product by letters in the mail. Think about that. His coat of arms sales letter, which she'll be writing out, his coat of arms sales letter generated over $300 million of sales through the post office, through the mail, letters on a page of paper, a stamp on an envelope, $300 million. Do you think that's a skill that you could use, or your wife could use, or your teenagers could use, or your grandkids could use? There's no limits after that. There's no limits after that to the world they can build. They'd never have a job. They'd have freedom, autonomy, personal sovereignty. They'd be able to do what they want, when they want, with whoever they want, at the price they want. They would literally live life and do business on their own terms because of the ability to sit down and write a swimming pool, sit down and write a car, sit down and write a home, sit down and... That, my friend, is true personal sovereignty, autonomy, and freedom. Remember, download a copy of my book, 5 Ways to Unfuck Your Life in the Next Month. It's below, it's free. Put in your email. I'll email you the book within 5 minutes. Print it off, read it on your phone, I don't care. Share it with other people, share it with your adult children. Let me know in the comments what you think. And wow, yeah, I can't wait till she starts pounding away left and right hand on the paper and seeing how long it takes to hardwire sales copy into her 11-year-old brain. Like my dad says, my 90-year young dad, we're living in the greatest time in history to be alive, 2024. We are awash in wealth, abundance, and opportunity. There is no excuse for not doing well in 2024. This is the greatest time in history to be a husband, to be a father, to be a grandfather, to be an entrepreneur, to be a community leader. So do the opposite. Cut the whining, the complaining, and the excuse making that you see around you. Take 100% responsibility for everything in your life and build the world of your badass dreams. Take on that responsibility and leave all the whiners and poodles behind. Never, ever, ever has there been a better time to be alive than right now. I believe you can do it. I know you can do it. Let's get busy doing it. 2 words that change this guy's life, 2 words that can change yours. Be relentless.